There is celebration among workers in two southeastern states of Nigeria because their governors have increased their minimum wage. But that singular action has put other state governors like Lagos under pressure to increase their minimum wage to $150. Welcome to your #1 labor program from Africa to the rest of the world. I am your host, Abulu Osemahu, and this is the Tripartite, the Worker, Employer, and Government Roundtable.
Did you know?
You see, the truth is this: as we get older, especially energy boosting food has to reduce because you're no more too active to requiring them. It's understandable. So what is there is that you carefully observe. I mean, your taste should even change. You carefully observe what quality. Now it's about quality and not quantity, and that's what should be done. In fact, what you take and everything, and in all fairness, you've understood your system, how it works, and you should align by that.
Did you know?
You can be part of it by sponsoring Did You Know? Now, there is a development in the UK. 100 jobs plus are being banned for a categories of people. Who are these people? There is also development in parts of Nigeria. Francis will bring you all those ones in our global update.
My name is Mohammed Megardi Gadi, the Minister of Labor and Employment. You are watching the Tripartite program on ITUC.
Hello and thanks for joining us on another bumper package on global labor stories, shaping the world of work. I am Francis. New research from the World Health Organization (WHO) shows more than 2 billion workers are now exposed to dangerous heat levels, 70% of the global workforce. The WHO's research also finds a 2 to 3% loss in worker productivity for every degree rise above 20 degrees Celsius. Let's listen to the General Secretary of the Public Service International Union, Daniel Bertosa, in an interview with the BBC.
Covers all countries, but obviously those workers in countries with the least public investment and the least resources are the most exposed. For example, we've recently been working with the Pakistani Community Health Workers Union, and these workers are women. They're particularly vulnerable to heat risk. They go door to door, and they provide care to over 100 million people. And one of these workers recently described how in a single day, 5 of her colleagues collapse from heat stroke. And this is very important. We don't want them at risk, and we don't want their patients at risk because they can't provide the services that we all rely on.
Let's get to Ukraine, where a new field study published with the European Public Service Union, EPSU, highlights the drastic conditions faced by Ukraine's nurses, who are maintaining critical health care services through bombardment, displacement, and severe staffing shortages since the full-scale Russian invasion. The findings highlight alarming workforce trends, with Ukraine losing approximately 1/3 of its nursing workforce since 2014, from 378,000 to 257,000. The research reveals consistent challenges: excessive workloads, unpaid overtime, missed breaks, task shifting due to staff shortages, and threats to personal safety, including patient aggression. A bizarre move, one may say, as the United Kingdom government announces the banning of more than 100 occupations from being filled by foreign workers. The development was announced by the Home Office via its X handle on Saturday, August 30. The government noted that the move aimed to create more opportunities for British workers while restructuring the visa system to reduce dependency on foreign labor. The X message by the Home Office said, "Cutting net migration means getting the fundamentals right, and that more than 100 occupations are no longer eligible for overseas recruitment in a bid to opening up more jobs for British workers," noting that a fairer, skills-focused system is now taking shape. The Tripartite reports that panic had gripped thousands of Nigerians and Africans working in the United Kingdom on certificate of sponsorship or skilled worker visas over the new regulations. Some of the delisted jobs include managers and proprietors in agriculture, forestry, hospitality, and logistics. Others include health, community, and welfare roles such as dispensing opticians, pharmaceutical technicians, youth and community workers, and counselors. More of the jobs removed are protective service roles like police officers, sergeants and below, fire service officers, and prison officers, as well as creative and performing arts professionals including artists, authors, translators, actors, dancers, photographers, and interior or fashion designers, among others. The Tripartite gathers that critics, however, have warned that the policy could worsen labor shortages in sectors such as health and social care. Have you ever heard of the island St. Maarten? Keep watching the Tripartite, where we reach the ends of the earth to bring you labor stories. Now, before we tell you about the labor story in St. Maarten, let's tell you a little about the island. St. Maarten is a southern part of the Caribbean island of St. Maarten, located in the Lesser Antilles archipelago. It is a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, sharing the island with the French territory of St. Maarten in the north. St. Maarten is known for its stunning beaches and as a hub for island tourism, occupying the southern third of the island. Now, firefighters and ambulance workers in St. Maarten is rising up against years of disrespect and dangerous conditions. Industrial action by the union, WICSU PSU, resulted in the meetings at Parliament. The emergency workers are seeking to finalize the function book for firefighters, which would clarify roles and negotiate better conditions for workers and services for the public. The International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC Africa, wants the African Continental Free Trade, AfCFTA, to be implemented in a people-centered manner to ensure that workers and communities benefit from the agreement. The organization submitted a formal petition on Friday, August 29th, to the AfCFTA Secretariat in Accra, Ghana, addressed to Secretary General Wamkele Mene. The petition, signed by ITUC Africa and TUC Ghana, described the AfCFTA as one of the continent's most ambitious initiatives. Let's go to Nigeria, where the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, Bashir Ojulari, has cried out before workers led by the President of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASN, Festus Osifo, that the company is under attack from elements who are against government's reform efforts.
There's no hiding around all the attacks that I have received and all the plans to take me out of this seat. Let's not pretend. It's a real formidable plan.
We brought up all our members in the street to demonstrate why government and why NNPC Limited must solve the issues relating to pipeline vandalization and crude oil theft. Because for us, the job of our members were being threatened. So what we've asked over time is that is it not possible in the refineries for us to bring a refiner who is well experienced to buy into the shares of the refineries, then our government through NNPCL will reduce their stake in the refineries so that it will reduce a lot of political interference. And so that at the end of the day, the continuous operation of the refinery will be a going concern.
It is celebrations for workers in the country's southeastern states of Imo and Ebonyi, as the governors of the two states have raised the minimum wage. And that would be all in this segment. Keep a date with us. I am Francis.
In our Let's Talk segment, we'll see how the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, and the International Labour Organization are putting heads together to ensure that there is labour migration movement strengthened, labour migration governance strengthened, so that all those that want to japa have a full understanding of why they are going, how they should go, and what information they need.
My name is His Excellency, Ambassador Professor Tunji John Asaolu. I am the Secretary General, the United World Congress of Diplomats, UNWCD. I'm also the Chair of Governing Council, African Union Agenda 23, Ambassador Assembly. In AIT, a program that is being called Tripartite. Keep watching. It's a program that you shouldn't miss. Please stay tuned.
To continue to work in this space. As my colleagues have said, labor migration happens because there are certain drivers, employment opportunities, economic development, and therefore people always move. But we are very keen on ensuring that the movement is not constrained by decent work deficits. We want to make sure that labor rights are respected, that there's no discrimination, and there are social protection measures to make sure that as we continue to contribute to this country's GDPs, we are also able to do so within an environment that protects our right. As we know, of course, for ECOWAS, we have the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol. And this is important protocol because it allows free movement of persons within the sub-region to start businesses as well without all the visa requirements. And for Nigeria, this is a very important protocol because of the size of the economy of the country as well as the size of the population. But there are, of course, challenges. And I believe that addressing some of these challenges requires us to popularize and create a bit of sensitization around this protocol. And these conversations are actually part of that sensitization. But most importantly, the other element is around strengthening the capacity of our trade union movements and centers to be able to implement the protocol to its fullest. So, of course, when we are working together to strengthen the labor migration a system, we move beyond freedom of movement on paper, and we ensure that workers who cross borders enjoy, as I said, real protection, fair recruitment, and equal access to opportunities. To better understand the importance of this labor migration governance as well as the agency of our mission, we must look at some data and some factual data as far as migration is concerned. The entire ECOWAS sub-region is home to about 400 million persons. And of these 400 million persons, half is from Nigeria. So you can understand and appreciate the power that this country has as far as contributing, as far as enjoying and benefiting from fair labor migration. And the data also tells us that the number of persons that are moving is increasing as well. The number of people that are leaving Nigeria is increasing, as well as the number of people that are coming to Nigeria. We have our brothers and sisters from the sub-region, from Ghana, from Cote d'Ivoire, where our persons from Nigeria move to some of these countries, but we also have people from other regions or other places in the region moving to Nigeria. I remember a few years ago when I just arrived in Nigeria, there was this phenomenon that was quite popular, Japa. Yes. And it actually explains this phenomenon and why many young people want to Japa. So when they do that, we have to make sure that at least they are protected and their rights are respected. But there's also, as my colleague mentioned, there's a gender dimension as well to labor migration. We know that it's mainly men who leave, but as well as women who migrate. And we know that there are particular sectors where you will find female migrants. And this is domestic work, informal trading, as well as cross-border petty commerce. And those are some of the areas where we find deficits, decent work deficits. That's why it is very important in our approach and our response, we apply a gender responsive migration governance so that we take into consideration the vulnerabilities that our women migrants are facing.
The mandate of our commission is to harness human capital and material resources for the overall socio-economic development of the nation. So in several aspects, being it real estate, health, sports, entertainment, and other fields of endeavor. The more people are moving to other nations in the name of migration, the more the population of Nigerians in diaspora come up, and where we see, we are hoping that they excel and they give back home. So if you can see in times or in the area of remittances, it is going high in every year. So the remittances, as we came on board in 2019, it was about 19 point something billion US dollars. As I'm talking to you, it goes up almost every year to 20, 21, 22, 23 billion. Is a huge amount. So we appreciate people moving, even though we frown at the issue of brain drain, but we appreciate people moving, especially in a regular way. So if one wants to move, should please move in a regular way.
With what is happening now across the world, with the current situation on the migrant workers, more work needs to be done on our part, because we need to protect and save our people across the globe. We have seen in many ways how those who are even legally have taken the step of migrating to another place to seek for opportunities. But having done that, we have seen how they have been denied of these rights or privileges, any one of the two. We have also seen the man inhumanity against man. When people try to migrate from their places to another places, how they have been sold into slavery, how untoward situations have become their fate. And it is on this note, many of them are naive, many of them they don't actually know the rules. And by us popularizing the migration governance, definitely we will spread the gospel very far.
all about strengthening the trade union structures to be active in migration discourse, strengthening the trade union structure to be active in the defense and protection of the labor and human rights of migrant workers. The NLC has a national platform on labor migration. And one of the things the NLC continues to do is to continue to advance the knowledge, the skills, and the capacity of members of this platform so that they can be effective in delivering the mandate of the platform.
I hope you have a swell information on our Let's Talk segment. But a special package we have for you today again is that the president of Nigeria was in Japan and in Brazil. What did he go to do there? And how beneficial is this trip to the working population, to employers, business people, and government himself? Let's have a listen to this package.
It's been a busy week for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Since last Thursday, he has flown approximately 38,260 kilometers. To put that in some perspective, that's the equivalent of driving from Lagos to Cape Town, South Africa and back 3 times, or flying from London to New York 9 times, or indeed traversing almost the entire circumference of planet Earth. Earth's circumference at the equator is about 40,075 kilometers, so 38,260 kilometers is equals to 95.5% of a full trip around the Earth. Anyway, enough of those statistics now. Let's get back to the actual trips. President Tinubu represented Nigeria at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 9, in Yokohama from August 20th to 22nd. Whilst there, he held bilateral talks, engaged powerful Japanese firms, and met with Nigerians in the diaspora during a town hall-style session. President Tinubu spotlighted Nigeria's reform agenda and pressed for Japanese investment in infrastructure, technology, and renewable energy. He also targeted infrastructure deals. Negotiations included crucial power projects like the Lagos-Ogun transmission upgrade, vocational training with Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA, and renewable energy efforts, strengthening grid stability and industrial capacity. There was a heartfelt appeal to Nigerians abroad to invest back home and portray their country positively. Following Japan, the president began a state visit to Brazil on Sunday, the 24th of August. It was his 3rd trip to the country since November 2024. There, he was given a warm welcome by his Brazilian counterpart, President Lula da Silva. There were also high-value investment opportunities on the table. Petrobras, Brazil's majority state-owned multinational corporation in the petroleum industry, agreed a deal to re-enter Nigeria's energy sector following President Tinubu's push at a joint press conference. A $1.1 billion agricultural mechanization initiative was revitalized, promising 10,000 tractors, 50,000 farm implements, 100,000 direct jobs, and 5 million indirect jobs. Deals in energy, trade, finance, and science were also reached. And perhaps the most talked about agreement reached during this leg of the trip, the one for direct flights between Lagos and Sao Paulo. So all said, a good week for Nigeria, right? Or was it? The trip to Japan, declared a success by the Nigerian presidency, was quickly mired in a controversy over whether or not Japan was offering Nigerians willing to upskill special visa waivers to enter the country. The initiative was announced by Abiodun Oladunjoye, Director of Information in the State House here in Abuja, but quickly debunked by the Japanese. And grand figures like $1.1 billion and the re-entry of Petrobras depend on swift implementation. Any delays or bureaucratic hurdles could deepen skepticism. There also seems to be an over-reliance on symbolism. Repeated visits to Brazil, for instance, the third in under a year, might feel repetitive or raise concerns about optics over substance if outcomes lag. And while foreign partnerships sparkle, domestic economic challenges, currency volatility, business closures, or fuel subsidy controversies may dilute public support and offset the goodwill from abroad. And while President Tinubu's approach from infrastructure in Japan to agriculture and aviation in Brazil shows a deliberate sector-focused diplomatic drive, success isn't guaranteed. The deals signed are ambitious, but they must deliver. Nigeria and its people deserve more than promises. They deserve progress.
Thank you very much for investing your time with us. Don't forget, on this program, workers' lives matter, employers' business matter, government policies matter, pensioners' welfare matter, eliminating child labor matter, fair recruitment matter, labor movement, migration movement matter to us here. And you watching the program, you matter to us. Get to us on our social media handles and let's keep talking there. I am Abulu Osemahu. Let's do this again.